Hey everybody, what do you call an alien with no body and no nose? Nobody knows. I'll pause here for laughter.
Wanna buy some death stick? Roger, roger.
Jedi.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
And my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy!
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi.
Hello, explorers, and welcome to the only international Star Wars podcast. And as always, thank you for joining us wherever you are in the Star Wars universe. Thank you for joining us today for episode 130. If you get a chance, please give us a rating and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I want to take a few minutes before we dive into the interview and talk about my Force encounters for this week. It kind of works out well because I have like 4 of them and it's just me. So why not? Want to wish Charlie a happy birthday. So when you hear this, her birthday was on Monday. And we want to wish Jack safe travels back to Japan. I know he's very excited to get back there. And so we're wishing him a safe and happy travels. So let's dive in to my Force encounters for this week.
My ally is the Force.
All right, folks, let's talk about my Force encounters for this week. I finally was able to finish, just with everything that's going on in life and things like that. I got back around to Tessa Gratton's The Crystal Crown novel. Acolyte, the Crystal Crown, and this basically gives us the reader a ton more time with Jeki Lon and Yord Fondar from the Acolyte series. We obviously know how things end. We actually had Tess on, and she was telling us that she was halfway through the book when episode 5 of the Acolyte came out, and that kind of threw her for a loop. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. It is a fun romp with in the Star Wars galaxy with 2 Jedi that we didn't get much time with. It holds true to Jackie saying, it was her first mission, because this book isn't really a mission; it's more of like they kind of get thrown into this learning experience, and it was a clever way of getting around it. I think that the best way to describe this is sort of like the Hunger Games meets Star Wars. About the only way I can really describe it. Not the violence of the Hunger Games and things like that, but the idea of these kids going in and being pitted against each other and battling things out. But we get to learn a lot. Tessa, she creates a phenomenal world in this book. Just it's one of those ones you want the art of book. I know when I first dove into this, I actually messaged her and asked her if she had any like artwork from it. She said not yet. So maybe by the time this comes out, I'll hit her back up and see if she has any, artwork for this book other than the cover. But anyways, great read. If you like Jackie and you could stomach Yord, I know some people loved him, some people didn't like him. It was a little stiff for my liking, but this book gives you a lot better understanding of both of these characters. Master Soul's in it a smidge, and then Yord's Master Elish is in it. Uh, very little bit. It's more about the kids, more about the Jedi Padawans, and just their adventures. Again, I read some of it. I listened to some of it on audio. Great narrator, and I highly recommend both. Just either way, you won't be sorry. If you like the Acolyte, this is a great story. It builds things up. So there's one of my Force encounters. My next Force encounter is Predator Badlands. Um, wow, like what a great movie. And my biggest takeaway from this movie, and after having seen Prey and Killer of Killers animated with the Predator, I know we're not, explore the Predator universe, but Dan Trachtenberg, the director, it's a Disney property. They need to get that man doing a Star Wars film. And this movie showed everybody else that you can have a non-human character and make I mean, we've spent years. I spent since the 1980s hating the Predators as far as like them always being the bad guys, and they have taken. And I don't want to give too much away for this, but they have taken a character that's usually feared and you're worried about, how's this going to end, and turned him into a hero. Hero's journey. I mean, you couldn't talk more Star Warsy. I know I've seen some comparisons to like the character's name is Dex, and he's kind of like the Mandalorian. There are some very similar things. I don't want to give too much away. Like I said, I might do an episode on it later, but found family is prevalent in this movie. Just phenomenal movie, a lot of fun. I think it's PG-13 because there's no like humans in it to be brutally brutalized. Elle Fanning does a phenomenal job in it too. She plays two characters, both synthetics, kind of tied into the aliens world. But Movie Land, I think it does a great job. Some good humor. It was such a Star Wars movie, and then it only cost 105 million. Only 105 million, but 105 million for a blockbuster film with the CGI and the special effects that this had. It it kind of you want to know why. I mean, Disney's spending so much money on these Star Wars films and not getting their return. I mean, it's already made $80 million from what I've read right before recording this. So, I mean, that's not great, but I mean, it's made what it cost almost in this first weekend. I think word of mouth gets out, and this probably doesn't have that big fall off that movies tend to do on the second and third weeks. I think this actually could probably get bigger. Um, but it just there's a couple things to it. It's just kind of like, I think we're ready for a movie that's not human led, but we can have an alien, we could have a Wookiee, we could have something that doesn't speak, English to us. It could be basic or whatever. And then also, Dan Trachtenberg needs to be pulled over. I mean, he's working in Disney. Lucasfilm needs to grab a hold of that man and bring him over for a movie. This guy is awesome, super talented. He makes it work, and obviously, he's not going to be blowing a ton of money. He doesn't need it to tell a good story, so that's awesome. And then my final Force encounter that leads me into the interview was I got to see at the beginning of this. So I went to IMAX 3D to see this movie, and one of the trailers was Mando and Grogu. Now it's a trailer that we've seen already, a few weeks ago, but seeing Star Wars, I'm just kind of like, if you're not watching, I got a big old smile on my face, and I had it the whole time. And the trailer's fine. I think it's a pretty good trailer. It's not my favorite one, but just seeing it on the big screen, seeing it on the IMAX, man, am I fired up for this movie in what is it? May, right? May 2026. Star Wars on the big screen again. Like, I got like all bouncy in my seat. The guy I was with was like, "Hey, well, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's Star Wars." I mean, he knows I love Star Wars, but um, just hadn't seen me like that. It was super exciting to see that trailer on the big screen. It was so much fun. It just really gets me fired up for Mando and Grogu. And speaking of the Mandalorian, this is where Jack and Charlie come in doing all the heavy lifting. We have an amazing guest, a friend of the show who's back, and you'll see has plans for coming back for a third time, maybe doing a live show with Charlie. You'll see towards the end. Has some great stories. This guy is phenomenal. We're so lucky to be able to count him as a friend of the show, just a friend in general. The one and only Brendan Wayne.
It's just a simple jump to hyperspace and we're there? What's so tricky about that?
Plenty. Can't plot a direct course to Kessel.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Now, to our regular listeners, our guest this week is no stranger to Explore the Force. But for me, this is extremely exciting. Myself and Charlie are delighted to be joined by Star Wars' hidden gem, grandson of Hollywood icon John Wayne, and the Mandalorian himself, Brendan Wayne. Brendan, it's a pleasure to have you with us again. How are you doing, bro?
Amazing. It's a beautiful day. And any day that we are anticipating something from our favorite galaxy is probably the greatest thing we have. So yeah, everything's good, man. I'm very honored to be on. And as you know, you guys, I love you guys, including my new friend Charlie, who grew up just like me with my grandfather in front of her, just in a different way.
Yep.
Wow, that sounded
Yep.
gross. Huh? I meant like she watched him.
Yeah, we're fanboying and fangirling for about 30 minutes before a recording, so that's what we're talking about. But no, all good. Go on, Charlie.
See, you say that came out weird. That actually might be the loveliest thing anyone's ever said. That's so unbelievably precious. Thank you.
Brilliant.
So, Brendan, I know that Jimmy and Jack have picked your brain to pieces about your time on the Mandalorian set, but this is my first time meeting you, and I've got a couple of questions for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, God, go ahead.
I guess I'll start with the fact that you've been instrumental in defining Din Djarin's physical presence and character on screen. How did you first approach this, and how has that changed since?
I think the biggest thing was when I got the job, it was John and Dave gave me some things that they liked, but it was implicit. I didn't understand that because I never would understand implicit trust. But they had a certain thing that they understood about me, which I had to kind of journey to find out, which was that I did things Western, and I never thought of it that way, but it's the way I was raised, and so like it just was me, like certain things, and I thought, oh, I have to do it this something, but I had lived my life from a kid, like not even just, oh, you're John Wayne's grandson. Like me and my buddies grew up the same way, and so like we used to go out in the streets and have, and I mean this, like in LA, it used to be wide open where I live, but we used to go out in the streets and have BB gun wars with the families around us, and we'd go shoot each other. You couldn't pump more than 5 times. If you did, like on the BB guns, if you did, you were out. But like, if you were trying to frag one of your friends, you definitely were like, that mother got me in the face last week. Bang! So I kind of grew up in this, I was the last 8 kids. Just, it was a culmination of a lot of things that walked me into Mando. Once I got to Mando and I understood the input that I had, whether they even wanted me to or not. I was in the suit, it was going to be impossible for them to remove me. And I don't think we all understood that until probably going into season 2. When I got sick, that's when kind of like, oh wait, we really do need Brendan here. And that's a really cool feeling because I really did find Mando, for me, everything about him was the most important thing I could think of other than my family. And so how do I create a character in Hollywood? You just generally don't get to create one, and let alone in Star Wars. And so it was real important to me. And I kind of went back to some old things that I knew from my mom, from my grandfather, from my grandfather through my mom, which was the simplicity of things versus the complexity of them. Because if you try to play them complex, then you lose everything. And if you're simple, then the audience, each person adds something to what they're seeing, whether it's helmeted or not, although the helmet really does make a difference. And because of that, you're allowing the character to create a complexity that you didn't even know it had. And so understanding simple, basic rules, like on my armor, if you look in the picture next to me here, you can see like there's a bullet missing and then another bullet. And that's a Western thing. So you're at your last bullet. And it's those kind of things that I would add, or my experience as a Star Wars fan in season 3. In season 3, God rest his soul, when Carl is confronting the pirates and I'm leaning against the tree.
Yeah.
And I bump off the tree. That's a Boba Fett. That's a nod to Boba Fett because he does that as Solo comes in. And it's those kind of things. I mean, I get goosebumps saying it, is that, that's my fandom popping out. And I got to just drop it in there. I didn't ask anybody, I just did it. And it's really cool. People like Filoni always is challenging me to, like, oh, I can walk like you, blah, blah, blah. because it's hard to walk like me. I mean,
Yeah.
took a lot of falls and broken bones to get in the shape I am, and
Yeah.
so it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to. I wanted to really give you a really succinct answer, and it just started to ramble. But the idea
No,
is
I
that it's an evolution, and it never stops. And Carl, God bless his soul again, uh, he was directing me in season 3, or season 3,
Yes, season
and
3.
he's like, I
Yeah.
need you to literally loosen up. And I'm like, I know, but they kind of like this, this kind of feel. And he's like, no, I need you to loosen up because Mando's more human now. And the more he's around the kid, the more he's human. And you don't realize it, Brendan, but you've already been doing it. And right now you're being conscious of it. And I need you to just loose. He needs to turn and look at people. And
Yeah.
we've been familiar with him enough. Now you have earned the process here. So the audience loves you. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you do in that suit as long as it's honest. You're not trying to fit in. This is yours and just go with it. And I'm going to shout out to Carl, which is from season 1. Without him, we don't have Mando. So God rest his
Yeah.
soul. Grief Karga helped build Mando. And that's the cool thing about Mando. I don't have an ego in it, in the sense that I had to be the answer all the time. I wanted to learn. I wanted to, Simon J's and Baz early on working with me on what the frames look like and how does Mando
Yeah.
look in the frame and how to move within it. And then no matter what, it's me. So it's not like, I guess now I listen to them and I added that. That's one of the most amazing things that I'm always been a team player.
Yeah.
And it's such a wonderful thing. I've been on sets where the lead people are like, and you're like, God, get off your high horse. I understand you're a pro and you got to work the way you work, but we all work together. Like
Yeah.
I don't get to do what I do if you guys don't want to do a podcast with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're as important to
Yeah.
this as Mando, because without the fans, and I learned this from a young age with my mom, and like you always honored those who allowed you to do what you love, especially. And so if that's good enough for my grandfather, who's, there's not a bigger star, and I am biased, but I'm sorry, there's not a bigger
You're
star
not
in the
wrong.
world, and there never has been.
Everybody knows
Because
John
of the way the media
Mhm.
is now, we'll never allow it again
Yeah.
unless we learn what's good for us, which is allowing people to have idols and not trying to just rip them apart. Whole different story. We're not on that podcast. But so I knew from a long history of this is that without collaboration, there's nothing. You
Yeah.
know, Dick-
And that's
Dick
something I
Cheney's
wanted.
bad
That's
press.
something I wanted to touch on as well. When you're speaking
Yeah.
about Carl Weathers, like you said, like God bless his soul. Obviously, that's a massive void that's been left. Clearly, the guys and girls working on the movie miss his energy and presence on set.
Oh.
Do you feel like now that you've sort of stepped into his role now, and you're sort of giving off the same energy and present that he was given?
I know. I mean, I would never, that would never cross my mind. Now, I definitely, on days where I was like, I'm going to mail this in, or I'm so frustrated with these guys, he stood up inside me and said, hey, this is yours.
Yeah.
Go own it. You can't give a day away. You don't get that. You'll live with regret. And that was something he taught me. I knew, but I never knew how to apply it in this industry, which is so,
Yeah.
I know, full of sycophants, and I'm not that guy. And
Mm.
so, most of the time I'd have to bite my tongue, and he taught me, no, you don't. No, you don't. And so in that way, like every time I put on the suit, I'm honoring him, because without him, we have nothing. And that he would call my house every January 14th to call. I mean, I guess not my house, because we have cell phones now. Nobody has a home phone. But and he would wish my daughter, who shared his birthday, a happy birthday. I mean, that's him. Like,
What a guy.
that's him in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And we went to see plays together of The Armor, Emily Swallow. Like that's the kind of guy he was. So if you don't honor that, then you're not honoring community. you're not honoring yourself. You're not honoring your soul. And
Yeah.
that's a huge thing. And that's something in that way, yes, I will always honor that. And that was a great gift he gave me.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
It's like you've described already some obviously really beautiful and meaning relationships that you've made through kind of like the vessel of Star Wars. For you and Carl, and was that something that happened kind of almost instantly? Obviously, I know Mando and Grief Karga spend a lot of time together, especially in season 1. Did you find that sort of connection with him instantly? Because it certainly sounds like you did.
Yeah, well, not instantly, because initially, we were doing the scene where I come in the bar, and I take off my rifle, and I sit down, and I'm like, I got him, and he's like, I can't really pay you enough, and that whole scene in the bar, and I'd already at least rehearsed with everyone else, but
Yeah.
I'd never rehearsed with Carl, and I was in the helmet. I wanted them to get used to, I generally love wearing the helmet and everything. So I didn't take it off.
Yeah.
Which is why there's so many behind the scene photos, because I never took it off. Not because I had to be in character all the time, but because as an actor, I understood there's a very big difference between a T-visor. My child almost didn't make it out of a room walking. I'm proud of you. Mind you, she's a high level athlete who can't walk. Anyways, she's so mad. She hates me so much.
She's
right
coming
now.
for you.
But no chocolate throwing. Cannot throw your guns at me.
Go.
Charlie's cheering you on. No, but I forgot where I was. That was hilarious.
Rehearsing with the helmet on.
Oh, so I always said, so I didn't want him. I want him to get used to. First of all,
Yeah.
he's so powerful,
Yeah.
and so that I wanted him to get used to trying to deal with me in this helmet, like, just as a challenge, character wise. And the problem was everyone else I could talk to like this, and you could hear me and everything. But I was sitting there as a fan, looking at Carl Weathers, going, like literally just like this. I need you to where are all the bounties? And I mean talking like this in the helmet. Now we're like, I don't know, 30 to an hour, somewhere in there. And finally he goes, hey, Brendan, can you take the helmet off? I can't hear you. And I'm like, I gotta be honest. It has nothing to do with the helmet. I've met presidents. I've hung out with, Ronald Reagan. Like, I don't get starstruck, but you're the first guy I ever cried in front of my buddies about. Like, when Drago killed you, I had to look at my buddies and be like, no,
I was
I'm just
there
sweaty.
with you, bro.
My eyes
I
are
was
sweaty,
there with
man.
you.
And like, we're all like, nobody wanted to look each other in the eye. And so I'm sharing this story with them. And that was it. That broke it. And then I could, wear the helmet. And then I just talked to him about his experience. I said, what's it like being a person of color in this industry from when you came in? I know that you played pro football, but your acting chops are really good. And he goes, oh, I went to San Diego State so I could become an actor. Football was just the vehicle. And I was like, wait, really? Like, you knew that's what you wanted to do from the get-go? And he was like, yes. What are you looking for, Mo? My other daughter's in here. No, I'm not. Anyway, so I learned all this stuff about him. And then he told me stories about his mentor. And it was, oh my God, it was with a guy, it was Burt Lancaster. And he was down the hall from him when they were in a production, back when you were on the studio lots back in the day. And he would go talk to him and get advice. And I was like, that's so interesting. And then from that point on, Carl understood who he was talking to. He understood that I was just a guy who, I still bartended. Season 1, I was still bartending Saturday and Sunday while I'd shoot 5 days a week because I didn't trust Hollywood. And I came up in it, but I still don't. The fact that it says stunt double in season 1 and season 2 tells me why you never trust Hollywood. Like, it's one of those things. And he and I would talk about it. I'm like, what was it like? And he's like, it was tough. It's very, very different, but I wasn't gonna settle. And it was such a cool thing to hear because that transcends Hollywood. They want you to settle to whatever they want you to do, and they
Yeah.
don't want people who come out of the box because it's easier to sell everything that you've already seen, which is why we see so many, remakes and all this stuff. So, anyways, I that was the kind of relationship we had, and I wasn't getting up this ramp right in the suit, and it was shooting weird, and Carl got mad at me, and he's like, "What?" Because he kept having to climb down and ambush me, and they wouldn't cut when it didn't look good, and I think Carl was just like, "Get this right, or I'm gonna beat your ass, kid." And so I was
That's someone
like,
I'd mess with either.
I'm like, I don't, he could tell I was getting very frustrated. And he goes, "How would your grandfather do it?" I'm like, "I'm trying to stay away from that." He goes, "I know, you idiot, but you're still his kid." And I'm like, "Oh," and he goes, "You can't run from it." And I thought somebody should have taped it because
Oh, brilliant.
it's one of those life lessons. Just as a kid, you should learn, which is stop running from your history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there are some things that are just you. And so
Yeah.
he goes, "Show me how he would do it." And he was like this to the camera guys, like roll, and I wasn't looking. And so I came up this thing. I go, "He'd lead with his shoulder." He goes, they go, "Yep, that's the one." And I was like,
Genius.
and he smiled at me and he goes, "Are we done with this shit?" I was like,
Yeah.
"We're done." You're
What a guy. Genius on screen as well as off screen. That's
yeah,
he didn't get enough plaudits.
he's old school. So for some people, they mistook directness
Yeah.
for abruptness or something. And the reality was that he did not suffer fools.
Yeah.
But most importantly, he assumed you knew he loved you and that the trust should be there. And I, I loved it. For me, one of the greatest things. He also on set could tell I was stressing, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I got to coach tomorrow, and it's for the championship, and I don't know what to tell these girls. I just want them to just, be them."
Enjoy it.
And he goes, "You ever, I don't know, like watch this video by Bill Belichick?" And he was giving me this thing. I'm like, "First of all, I
I know
hate
which one he's on
Everton,
about.
Boston. Like you can burn that."
Yeah.
And he was laughing. He goes, "Well, the idea was, do your job. Everybody has a
Yeah.
job to do, and they have to be responsible to it." And he
Yeah.
goes, "You're going to look at the girls and say, 'Do your job today.' No one else's job. Do your job." And then you're going to say it. They're going to say it back. You say, "Do your job. Do your job." And I have a video of it. It's so great, and it's inspired by Carl. And we went on to win that thing, and it was such
Nice.
a
I think I've seen that on
it's
Instagram.
one of my favorite moments with my daughters and
Yeah.
in one of my teams. And it was driven by Carl's giving kindness. So
What a
yeah,
legacy. Obviously now you've just come fresh from a movie set, and obviously you've done other movies before, so it's not really that new to you. But
but a Star Wars movie is different, isn't it?
that's what I was going to. So
Mhm.
is there a massive difference between the movie set that you're let's say not used to working on then Star Wars wise to the TV series set that you're working on with the Mandalorian? Obviously it was all done at the Pinewood, everyone knows that.
That's funny. No, okay, so we did IMAX, so that was different, but that doesn't really affect me.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think. No, because the scale that we worked on for the show, we might have had more locations
Hmm.
because we didn't do a lot of locations on the show because we wanted to use the volume. We used the back lot that was there. We were very, um, I don't know. I thought we were very industrious, uh, and so the movie we did a couple more, but not really, not very different than I was used to. We were still in warehouses doing things.
Yeah.
But that said, bless you, Charlie. Just want to make sure you were good. So the everyone kept saying, it's funny. The reason why I'm kind of like searching is because people kept saying, "No, this is a movie now." But we approached the show like a 4-hour movie,
Yeah.
or 5-hour movie, whatever we ended up getting minutes wise.
Yeah.
And everything was connected to the next thing, even though there was a certain level of like a procedural flow to it, like you have on shows. It still had a longer story to be told. It wasn't told in one episode, and then you could watch the next one, and it didn't matter. So that's with the movie. We had some more locations and things like that, but I don't know. I didn't feel the difference, and maybe that's because Mando was me, so I didn't feel like I had to do more. Charlie, what's going on? Are you gonna explode? Is your head gonna explode?
No, I'm not going to explode. I was
You
stifling
see
a
Charlie
yawn, so
going,
I didn't come across as rude. I'm so sorry.
what, root to sneeze? I guess because there is
No, to
that phrase,
yawn.
it's nothing to sneeze at. But no, the I think we all loved on that set, our whole crew, and it was one of the greatest things ever, that the consistency of my crew always being there, and us
That's what I was going to
being
ask. Sorry
able
to interrupt. That's what I was going to ask,
Yeah.
Brendan. Was it exactly the same crew from season 1, even on the movie set? Like, I know we've got new actors coming in, but in terms
Yeah.
of production crew and everyone behind the scenes, it all the same core people.
Yeah, season 1 we had a different grip crew. But from then on, yeah, it was the same. And everyone was still so excited.
That's amazing.
You know, to do it. And a lot of them had been working nonstop, whether it was with Skeleton Crew or Ahsoka or Obi. So they had an even higher level of, I could eventually hate this. And it never
No one's
was
bored.
realized that way.
Yeah.
And that's a testimony to Dave and
That's
John.
class.
And you know, if they didn't love it, if it really was just like, you know, a Disney cash cow, and that's the way it was looked at, I don't think we could have had the greatness that we had. And I mean, we have greatness.
Yeah.
I mean, Lateef, my stuntman, Lateef Crowder, won 2 Emmys.
Big shout out to Lateef.
He won the first Emmy that was ever created for an individual stuntman, and it was Lateef. And that's, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm very proud of all the people, our ILM, Doug Chang, like getting to know Doug and his
Great guy.
kindness. It's just a great, there's nothing wrong. I loved it. I loved it.
I think I was almost naive in thinking that sort of like you appeared on set, they put you in the suit, they gave you the script, and you just sort of went and did it. When actually, what it seems like is this kind of deeply collaborative relationship through all levels of Star Wars in so many kind of wonderful ways. Like obviously, you've just spoken about Lateef, and you spoke so wonderfully about Carl Weathers. What can you tell us about your relationship with Pedro, with Lateef? Like, it feels like so much of this has influenced everything for you.
I would like Emily Swallow, the armor, Katie Sackhoff, Gina, like these are friends forever. And that's, you think when you get in Hollywood, like you're gonna go, like you go do Cowboys and Aliens. And to be honest with you, I did Cowboys and Aliens, and JJ Dashnaw worked on it, and he had one of the funniest things ever said on a set, which I can't explain. But it was, and he was a stuntman who ended up being my stunt coordinator, who ended up being, I mean, he's one of my idols. He's younger than me. He'll text me and be like, yeah, I knew you loved me. But like the respect, like I like respect from people that I respect. And if I can earn that respect and those kind of things, it's incredible. And a lot of the ways you do that is through collaboration. So like Emily and I, hey, this is how I work in the suit. If you need some pointers, here's what I know. And her suit was even harder to work in. I feel like it was like one of those golden spittoons, and they just kind of shaped it a little different. And then I was like, it smells like it too. You know, and then, you know, like Mercedes. I don't know. I still talk to everybody quite often. I was disgusted by a headline like a few months ago that they had about Katie. I can't even tell you what it was called. I can't remember. But they they were just ripping on her because she was a woman.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, nah, we're not having any of that. But she kind of talked me down from what I was gonna do.
Joan Ham. She's
But like
amazing.
that's how I feel. These are my family. Like I went
Yeah, yeah.
to see Justin Lubin, who is a great friend of mine, one of the kindest human beings on earth. He was my set photographer in season 2, and most of those iconic images you see that they still use today was from his one season. Plus, he did some on the movie. And he loved Star Wars, and all he wanted to do was keep being on it. Didn't work out that way, whatever. But he ended up going to Terminal List and doing a lot of that. And he's one of the greatest set photographers. Anyways, yesterday I went over to his Union Local was doing a presentation of all these great set images and put out a
Yeah.
book called
Yeah.
Single Frame, and I went out to it and I saw Diego, one of my grips, but he was the guy who was on Filoni's level of encyclopedic knowledge of Star Wars. So if I was doing something, he would be like, "Hey, Brendan, not in Star Wars, you can't do that." And the great thing was, I was the guy who was like, "Well, I'm the first one then." And he's like, "Well, no." And I'm like, "Nah, if I shouldn't do it, you definitely shouldn't tell me, because then I'm going to make Mando do it. I'm going to break every rule you have out there in Star Wars if I can." And he was like, he was like just, but it was great. We have these, moments. Like one time they taped the inside of my visor to see if I could, make it without me knowing. Like they didn't give me my helmet. Normally I have it on. They wouldn't give it to me till they were like, "Okay, action. Now throw it on and go." We said make some adjustments. And they knew I would be like, "I'm going to do this anyways." And I did, and I didn't fall down. It's the scene when I'm walking into the bar to meet Cara Dune for the first time, by the way, just so you know.
Nice.
You are the victor of nerd wars, clearly. Oh my goodness.
He loves it. Absolutely love it.
I did a whole scene there just to see if they were watching in Video Village with my helmet on backwards. So all you see is this and my normal front.
Yeah.
The back, and I did it, and they still didn't cut.
Hashtag release the backwards cut right now.
Yeah.
Right? Let's go. Oh, yeah.
That's class, mate. I've got to mention as well. So you spoke about costumes and stuff, and I was going to ask you, like, whose costume is probably the hardest? But obviously, with the movie, we've got Seb that's been shown, and we know that Seb's obviously in a costume. Like, how incredible was Zeb?
First of all, let's connect this completely. So we love John Wayne. We love the stunts that happen in his movies. Terry Leonard, who was a famous stuntman, did the stunt in Indiana Jones where he goes around, which was an ode to Yakima Canutt. It was in a John Wayne movie. Terry ended up being this second unit director on Cowboys and Aliens. I got to work with him. He put me under his wing and really took care of me on there. As you can see, there's a theme here where people take care of me. Because if I'm left to my own devices, bad things happen. Maybe not to me, but maybe to things around me. Anyway, so Terry, he was like, first movie I ever worked on was Rio Lobo with your grandfather. So we did Cowboys and Aliens. I met his stepsons, Matt and Melosi, Matt was a Jacksonville Jaguar football player, played at Stanford. Okay. Work on all the shows with his kids. Love them. Matt and I have a mutual disgust of JJ Dashnaw together. And so Matt walks in on this movie and I go, "What are you doing? What's going on?" He goes, "Oh, I guess I'm going to be the physical representation of Zeb." And so I got to work, like a buddy cop movie. I got to work with, a guy who we have like the best
That's
time.
amazing.
And so Matt Leonard, he's while we have whatever, somebody's doing the voice. I don't know why we're getting this so confused nowadays. Star Wars was always good about it. From like James Earl Jones not even putting his name. I didn't even remember that. but James Earl Jones wouldn't even put his name in the movie. He
Yeah.
let David Prowse as suit, I thought that was amazing. Anyways, so my buddy Matt plays Zeb. Um, there was Rada, which is another incredible costume. I mean, you all see it's pretty incredible. These
I
guys
can't wait.
they're incredible, and none of them are little. So I felt like Robert Conrad. You guys aren't old enough to know who Robert Conrad is, but he was this little guy, and he used to do a commercial about Duracell batteries, and he'd be like, "I dare you to knock it off." And my mom, I had no idea. He's on TV, so I would think he was always like this big, strong guy. And my mom, who was a 6 foot tall, just Amazon beautiful woman, but who was tougher than there's very few people who I've met who were tougher than her. And she goes, I'll never forget. She'd be like, "That little shrimp, he couldn't knock a piece of ice off a board." And I was like, "Oh my God." And then that was when the illusion of TV the curtain was opened for me. Anyways,
Nice.
yeah, these costumes, and Mary Zofries, Academy Award winner, did "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And I'd worked with on Cowboys and Aliens. She was the costumer for the movie, and it was my costumer, Mary Gossett, Stein Gossett. She's having a baby finally. I'm so excited for her. But she would costume Lateef and I, and watching these costumes get made or seeing them, because I love the process in movies
Yeah, I do.
and TV. So like I'll just go and hang out in those rooms and annoy the hell out of them, watch the props get made, and be like, "Wait, where did it come from? All this
Yeah,
is
yeah, it's
amazing,
fascinating,
blah,
isn't
blah, blah." And so, it's one thing to just love Star Wars. It's another thing to love film, and then to be able to get into the minutia of it all. Watch, Doug Chang bring out a miniature and be like, "So this is," and then I drew this, and this is
Yeah.
what and you're like,
It's incredible. And more people need to realize it, I think, personally. Like the actors, you guys and girls do an amazing job. But the people behind the scenes that make these props, the scenes, like they are working pretty much, not with a blank canvas, but like George Lucas, prime example, he'll tell someone, "This is what I want, this is my vision." They'll go to the drawing board, they'll draw it, and they'll go yes or no. Like,
yeah,
that is some talent, that.
dude, how about they won't just draw it? Like, how about the prop guys will make them sometimes, especially
Yeah.
like with John, and then John will be like, "Okay, remake that." And they'll be like, but they're so talented and he's so comfortable in it. I don't think he's flexing on them. Like, go make that, get it done, be fast. I think he understands that their talent is. I was working with the best, and it's an incredible thing that John's able to, bring these people, and I don't know, just very cool, very, very, very cool.
I love it.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
I've loved hearing about all of these different kind of moving parts that seem to come together for just this one singular character. And obviously, you've spoken a lot about John and about Dave. How aware are you of the story as a whole when you're on set? This applies to the movie, this applies to the TV series. Are you given like full access to the scripts, or do you have to wait, like us plebeians over here, for the full reveal when the show finally airs?
No, I didn't have that problem. I had the script from the get-go. And it was funny because I didn't realize how, like, I don't know. For me, I think it's a little, I don't know. There's something about it that I find to be like, there's a word for it and I can't think of it, but I just think it's like, I don't think you think a very high level of yourself to think that, you shouldn't give it to the actors, the whole thing, so that they can see the story and where their character fits in. Because to me, that's a really important thing. And I'm not saying I did this, but it would be a good idea, like the lead actor, if they had full access to the script and maybe your other cohorts didn't, or they didn't know what the next part of the thing that they were going to get was going to be. To me, it would make sense if maybe that lead actor, I don't know, like copied his script and let them have it so they can have it. I don't know. It seems like something someone should do. I'm not saying I did, Lucasfilm, But
Yeah,
I
I
would
get what you
say,
mean.
yeah, it's incredible. Some of these people, they couldn't be trusted. So they
Yeah.
didn't give it to him. But it
Wow.
was crazy to me. I was like, how do you work like Zepp, like Matt Leonard? Like I was like, wait, you don't have anything? He's like, no, because I'm not gonna do the voice. I'm like, but you gotta do the lines anyways. Like they would give him lines and he's a stuntman, like an incredibly the boys, V, everything, like incredible
Mm,
stunt dude. And they wouldn't give it to him except day up, but he was so good. He could
Yeah.
memorize the lines and then we would just riff and he was so great. So I was like, dude, here, look at my script. So
clearly, you're
to
the
me,
chosen one. My goodness.
I mean, I don't know how. I know Carl was able to get it all. I just don't know how it's such a hindrance as an actor to not
Mm,
know,
Where you going?
uh, even if it's just an episode when we were doing the show. Like, how do you not know? It's
Yeah.
I don't know. And how does that? I don't know. And I know everyone's like, look, people get their scripts stolen. They leave them in their car, and it's happened or whatever. But I don't know. Mind blowing to me.
Yeah. No,
But yeah,
I
I knew
get
the
what you mean.
stories before I
Yeah.
walked in, so it was easy for
that's
me, and
crazy.
that's why I'd come to set so prepared because I was actually allowed to have the tools to be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you almost find yourself kind of becoming part of the set? Like people were working around you, you became part of the kind of the machine of it all. That's so
That's
fascinating.
such a brilliant question, and I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. Yes, 1,000,000,000%. Like, um, like
That's why he's the OG.
well, and I'd be like looking around sometimes, um, thinking, you guys, what's this show called? I'm standing here like I'm not a prop. What is going on right now? And
Yeah.
yes, so yeah, there were moments, but I think at the end of the day, it was okay. Like I definitely don't like the idea that I was going to get um, someone who's going to come pet me. I watched actors like that, who are so like
Yeah.
I don't know, I know. So like I'm in a position of power, uh, and I guess I probably could have been a squeaky wheel, but it was fun. We used to laugh about it, and I think that kind of um, some would say like taking for granted. I don't mean it in a bad way. I think that
Yeah.
perception of it was
Yeah.
great for me and the crew because they never felt like I was unapproachable. And so,
Yeah.
like, if there was a new actor on or somebody who was only going to work like a day or two, initially, all of a sudden they had access to somebody who they normally wouldn't on a set. And this guy's riding a skateboard around in the Mandalorian outfit on set through Manhattan Beach, and they're like, and I'm like, "Oh, what's
Yeah.
up?"
Yeah.
Or like there's a guy who would wash cars over there, um, and I'd just walk up to him in the suit and be like, "Hey, man, I don't know how you got my kid's Skittles out of the back seat last time, but thank you so much," or whatever. And he'd be like,
What a guy.
what the?
What
Oh
a
no,
guy.
sorry, I forgot I was in the. And then one of the PAs or somebody would come, Brendan, you got to wear a cloak, and I'd be like, oh yeah, no, that's for the Empire. I'm not wearing that. I don't wear cloaks. That's for the
Awesome.
Emperor.
If
Yeah,
there's anything at all that you could change about the Mandalorian or do differently or design differently, is there anything at all you'd think, you know what?
the
Maybe,
jetpack.
jetpack.
We already got rid of the rifle because that was just a disaster.
I
The
love that.
rifle was a disaster to run with. Um, the Beskar spear is terrible. And by the way, Beskar should never be a weapon. It's actually broken the cannon because Beskar is a defensive thing, and it's always been. I learned that from Dave. So those had to go, honestly, because they
Yeah.
just weren't. They're not very functional. Um, it's not like a cowboy's. Like we wanted the idea of the western and the rifle and the cowboy, but it was so long. I mean, like the
Yeah.
first time I
Yeah.
ever got it before I even put it on, I was like, this is going to be too long, guys. You guys got to cut it down 6 inches. I hadn't even gotten the job, Charlie. I'm sitting there telling these guys who like have been working and getting paid in Hollywood a lot of money. I'm walking in to do the screen test, and they're like all excited to show me these things, and I'm like, your holster's too high. You got to drop it down. I need a leg tie down. This rifle's gonna catch in my boot, and they're like,
I
no.
love that.
Like, yeah, it will.
Well,
And so like, there's a little metal thing right here that I was like, hey, if you throw a strap on this rifle, we don't have to keep having. I always wanted to make it practical. So Manda was always evolving, and the guys at Legacy who made the suit, who dressed me the first season, they were like, how do we do it? Let's go. And so like, I was like, throw a magnet, like a really good rare earth magnet kind of thing. This was before clearly we had tariffs with China, so we could get them. And you know, like we threw this thing on, and so there's a leather strap that goes to here. So when I pull it off, I can go right into it. There's no me unbuttoning. And so that was all part of us collaborating. And you know, like John was like, I don't want to tie down on your leg. That's way too Western.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I still need it because there's no way I'm gonna be able to draw my gun. They'll read. Who's one of the greatest quick draw taught me. And you need that tie down. And so what we did was I said, hey, how about there's a stitch right there on my leg. How about you open that stitch, close it on each end, and you drop in a little, like, I don't know, we could put a strap that goes on my actual leg and we'll never see it. And that's literally how my gun doesn't fly everywhere. When I run or anything, it's because I have it tied down inside my suit pant. And so, yeah, there's a bunch of collaborations, and we've tried, and Latif and I both had shoulder problems because the way that jetpack sits on our backs, and the way the suit's made, there's just no way to make it flush.
Yeah.
It's always going to kind of pull. And since we're in the suit so long, it's pulling, and it creates an unnatural pressure. And we tried everything. And I honestly, on this movie, both Latif and I ended up having torn labrum. And so we just kind of had to work through it because we had a new addition to the way that thing worked. What are you looking for, Mo?
Beast mode activated, mate. That's what that was. Beast mode activated.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Literal blood, sweat, and tears. My goodness me.
Oh, no, you have no idea.
I don't think I want to have an idea.
Outside? Why, do you need to move something? Sorry.
No, you're good.
That's okay.
School. So, wait, what did you just say? Because it Charlie, what'd you say?
I said blood, sweat, and tears went into this, obviously.
I mean, I think Jack knows, but like season 2, I have a hole in my stomach that big that I had to change the bandage every like 3 hours while I was in the suit because I had an intestine replaced or cut out and stitched together kind of thing.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, going into during season 2, like I died. But when I had like 10 days out of the hospital, I was 42 days in the hospital, and then 10 days out, I'm in that suit diving across the floor to trying to save Grogu from Moff Gideon shooting Grogu up in the ship. That's when Luke arrives. But like literally, I just was wrapping myself in gauze and. Like it was not it was the stupidest thing ever.
I bet your primary care doctor loved you. Oh my goodness.
Well, funny thing, one of the producers and I share our primary. And so she's like, I told him he should not be letting you on set. Da 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 da. And I was like, well, I was diving on set yesterday. And she was like, what? You have if you get infected, you had blood transfusion, you flat, like you're an imbecile. And I'm like, hi, that's why I wear a helmet.
Yeah. Committed to the cause. Don't care what anyone says. Most committed actor I know. And that's why
I should be committed as in an asylum.
And that's not part of the problem why he struggled to get in and out of N1 Starfighter, but more on that on the previous episode. So if you want to know that story, go back to the
Yeah.
previous episode.
You can take the man out of the West, but you can't take the wild out of him. Clearly,
Oh,
goodness
yeah.
me.
Well, you can. What did Carl say? Carl said to me, "Well, you can beat a stupid man, but you can't beat the stupid out of the man."
I love that. I'm using that. Let me just write that down. That's
So good.
brilliant. I love
Yeah.
that.
So,
Brendan, I could get lost talking to you for hours about all of your stories on set. I'm only going to pick your brain for a few more questions, if that's okay.
do it.
I wanted to ask which movie or role outside of Star Wars kind of most influenced how you think about your work today? And I know that might seem like a silly question given your literal grandfather and like his entire legacy, but I just wondered if there was anything in particular that's like stood out to you over the years.
That I'd personally done, or a role that I personally loved?
A role that you've personally loved.
I mean, nothing. I mean, I won't say never, but I don't think there's ever a chance that I'll have Mando this role. Other than Mando, the influence and things like that. Like, to me, it's more about the set. Honestly, the characters come and go. I was on The Mentalist for one episode, and I got to play an assassin, and I got to shave my head bald in the episode, like live, not live, but whatever, like in the show. And they kept calling me, like, I was like, you guys don't know who I am, because they kept calling me going, are you sure you're gonna shave your head? Because I guess actors, this is why actors get a bad, reputation, is that, they'll just get to set, they'll get the job, and then they won't do whatever's being asked. Like, I had a buddy who found out he was allergic to horses when he got on set.
Literally my worst
Cheney
nightmare.
Clay,
I
God
love
rest his
horses.
soul. He was doing, yeah. Oh my God, you have no idea. It's so good. I love this so much. Where I got to find this thing. You'll die laughing. But yeah, I was like, they called me every day. My agent would call me, and I was like, just give them my number. And so when they called me, they were like, hey, so you're good. I'm like, you guys, you hired a man of his word. Like, there's no two ways about it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here's what it. And the funny thing was, I shave it, right? And then they give me this huge mustache and a hat. I'm like,
Why?
why? Why couldn't I just be the bald guy? Here, I'm going to show you. It's awesome.
Here we
I
go.
literally look like I should be in like Quadrophenia or something. Like,
Oh, what a
some
film.
kind of like
Amazing
punk rock.
reference. Thank you. Amazing reference. Also, side note, nobody's ever heard of The Mentalist. Nobody. Oh my God, that's you.
Looks like Charles Bronson.
I know. I was
You
going to say
do
I
look
look
like
like
Charles
Chopper in
Bronson.
this one. Now, here, how about this one? I had one with a different mustache, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you look like
different.
John Waters."
If you're listening on Spotify, you need to get over to YouTube and see this stuff.
Who
What
is that strange man?
So when I came home that day, actually,
Put the helmet on.
no one was home. So when the kids got back, and they walked in, and I was just sitting in my reading chair, and their face was like this. Oh God, it was so great. Oh my God, yeah. No, that was one of those moments you're like, oh, that's a core memory that will ruin you forever. It's great.
Brilliant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna ask one more question for myself. I'm conscious, Brendan, you're a super busy
Wait,
guy.
hold on. Let me finish Charlie's very succinctly. I love being able to like be a part of a character, as opposed to you just do kind of tried and true things like you get in TV show episodic. So often you're the bad guy, do this. And so those are the things that I love as far as roles that shape everything. No matter what role I do, whether it's a strong role, a weak character, whatever it is, they always shape the next thing I'm going to do. They're always going to be a part of it because all these pieces of the character come from somewhere in me, because we all have so many different things going on as humans, and in any given moment, certain traits stand out. And that's the way I look at character work: is which trait does this character require, whether I've had it out or not? And that's kind of how I look at it.
Nice. So I was going to go to one final question just for myself. Charlie, probably got one or two more after me. But no, okay. So basically, what it is now then? So 2026, we're a year ahead. Mando Grogu's been out. It's been out for about, let's say, 2 or 3 months. And then looking back, what is one word that you'd use for the year of the Mando, or phrase?
Franchise changing.
Franchise changing. There it is. Oh my God. Amazing. Well, Brendan, again, thank you so much. As always, it's an absolute privilege to talk to you in person, my brother. I absolutely appreciate you so much.
Wait, Charlie, you had more questions.
I've got 20 pages of questions, babe. I could keep going for eternity, quite honestly. I feel
We're
like
gonna
we
meet
need
you
to
in
do this
person
again,
anyway.
All right,
just
so
so I
when
can
I go
pick your
back to
brains.
MCM next year, that's
Okay,
gonna have to be
I'll
it.
be there.
We'll do
I'll be there.
a live podcast.
Why not?
You should get to the con, and we'll do a panel that will add to this. We'll record it and we'll just put it up there.
That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm
Brendan Wayne's
100% down
official
for
fourth
that.
member of the
All right,
Explore
I'll
the
talk
Force
to him then.
podcast.
Done.
I'm gonna tell him that's what I want to do.
We've got celebration in LA as well, so hopefully
Yeah.
you'll be going to that
Awesome.
on your
That's gonna be
doorstep.
awesome.
Awesome. Right, Brendan, thank you so much for
That
coming
was
on the
my
show.
pleasure.
Super appreciate it, buddy. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Hey, Jack, stay out of the fucking doctor's office.
I'll try.
All right.
He's been told.
What was that saying? You can beat a stupid man, but you can't beat the stupid out of the man.
I am living proof.
Amen.
Let's just leave me as the example instead of you as well.
Amen.
I told you, folks, what an incredible interview. Brendan Wayne is so cool. I'm really bummed that I missed this one. Jack and Charlie, awesome job on that interview. So, folks, let us know what you thought. Are you more excited for Mandalorian and Grogu after hearing all of the praise from Brendan? I know we are here at Explore the Force. If you have any questions or just want your voice heard on the DM, if you have any questions or just want your voice heard, then DM us on the socials, send us an email or voice note at exploretheforce@gmail.com. And remember to like this episode, share it with your Star Wars friends and family, to follow us on all of our social media platforms. All you have to do is search Explore the Force, all one word. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to show your support and spread the word around by image as well as voice, then head over to Redbubble and search Explore the Force, where you can purchase unique merchandise. And a massive thank you to everyone interacting with us via our social media. You guys keep this podcast amazing. And finally, one last thing, I want to wish Charlie a happy birthday one more time and Jack safe flight. But you have been listening or watching Explore the Force. We have spoken. We'll see y'all next week.
Only now, at the end, do you understand?
Close your eyes. Feel it.
I am a senator.
As wise as Master Yoda, as powerful as Master Windu.
They'll do their job well. I'll guarantee that.
I am going to end this once and for all.
You are the chosen one!